Chapter 29 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lipincott. Social distancing, masks, sanitizers, virus, distance, staying at home. What better time to read a book with characters that are struggling exactly like us? So join us in this chapter, non-spoiler and spoiler, where we review and compare the movie and the book. We post on Wednesdays. Turn the page. Welcome to another chapter of our podcast, Between the Pages. If this is your first time joining us on our podcast, we welcome you. My name is Haneen.
And my name is Nesma.
We host this podcast together where we review and recommend books for you to read.
We usually have non-spoiler chapters for those of you who haven't read the book yet, and spoiler chapters for those of you who have read the book. But from now on, we're going to combine both episodes or both chapters together into one. So the first half of the episode is going to be spoiler-free, and the second half of the episode is going to be just spoilers everywhere.
All the juice. And if it is a series, we'll do some predictions in the end of what will happen in the next book when it comes out, or if it is out. We
come up with like ideas or like theories that we have in our heads that might happen in the next book or not. But it's not in this case. Today we have 5 Feet Apart, written by Rachel. I'm just gonna say the first names.
Yeah,
the
Rachel Lipincott. Yes,
Lipincott. Yeah. Collaborated with Mickey Daughtry and Tobias Iconis, who are the screenwriters
of the film.
We're just gonna drop on you a few facts about the book that mainly not a lot of people know.
Yeah, we did know after we read the book.
Yeah, just some general ideas. So the movie came out before they finished writing the novel. So they were done simultaneously, kind of.
Like book and the novel were written alongside each other.
Yes.
And the novel and the script were written alongside each other. The story was developed between the screenwriters and the writer and the author. But what actually happened is that the script was done and the movie had wrapped production and went into post-production, while the book hasn't yet been finished. Yeah. Like, they came right after each other. When the book was published in late 2018, I think November?
Yes, November 2018. No, yes. November
and
2018.
The movie came out March 2019, which is not a long time after it.
Yeah.
I think if you haven't come across the summary or synopsis of the book or the movie, we'd read it for you so you get an idea. Here at the back of the book it says, "Can you love someone you can never touch?" Stella Grant likes to be in control, even though her totally out of control lungs have sent her in and out of the hospital most of her life. At this point, what Stella needs to control most is her distance from anyone or anything that might pass along an infection and jeopardize the possibility of a lung transplant. 6 feet apart. No exceptions. The only thing Will Newman wants to be in control of is getting out of this hospital. Couldn't care less about his treatments or a fancy new clinical trial. Will's exactly what Stella needs to stay away from. But suddenly, 6 feet doesn't feel like safety. It feels like punishment. What if they could steal back just a little bit of the space their broken lungs have stolen from them? Would 5 feet apart really be so dangerous if it stops their hearts from breaking too?
You're not the thief anymore. I'm the thief.
Yeah.
I think you can kind of say the characters were based off the actors, because while I was reading the book, I noticed a lot of physical aspects of the person who was acting the character. We have Cole Sprouse and Haley Lou Richardson. I noticed some of like their features and their like personal traits written into the novel. So I think maybe they already knew the actors while they were writing the novel. So she took that as inspiration and
For like the characters' physicality and
yes.
I guess like emotional range, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly,
know.
yeah.
Like we haven't gone into behind the scenes that much, but
No, we haven't.
Like what made us Uslan look into this was the acknowledgements. In the end, we were like, wait, what was the movie first or the book first? I thought that was a novelization of the movie.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
But then so we like looked at dates and then saw what happened.
Yeah. It is a bit confusing because they were done at the same time, so there's no really, you really have to look for the dates to know when and everything was published. But yeah, here we are. We have read the book and we're just gonna give you an insight into, if you want to read the book and you haven't read it yet, what to expect, what the book is about, is it worth it, what we liked and what we didn't like, and yeah, just
I guess what we liked and didn't like we'll leave to the spoilers, so we don't But the thing is, with that book, we had watched the movie first.
Yes.
And like while reading it, we were like seeing them. Like I kept
All
seeing
over.
the movie
Yes.
in front of my eyes while reading.
Yeah.
Like, you know this moment when you're reading and you forget you're reading and you're there, sort of?
Yeah.
This happened, but like with me watching the movie. Like it's right there in front of my eyes. It was interesting. I kept wanting to watch the movie.
Same. I was reading and I was like, okay, can I just put the book aside and just watch the movie? No, I have to finish the book first, because if I watch the movie, then I'll spoil the book. But
Yeah. I like that it wasn't so, it wasn't different at all from the movie. Except the ending. Even the alternative ending that was like posted somewhere was different than the ending in the book. Yes, this like confirms that the movie was filmed before the book was finished. So, yes.
I loved the ending in the book. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It was.
Yeah, anyway, we're not going to talk about the ending here in the spoiler part. But I guess if you have clicked on this podcast, I'm assuming that you have already watched the movie, but maybe haven't read the book yet.
Yeah, and like if it's worth it, I think it's so relatable now in the time of COVID-19. I hate the sentence. In the time of COVID-19.
Of
coronavirus. Blah, blah, blah. I'm so bored already.
We're so done with this virus. Can we just move on to the next chapter?
Can you be done with us? Yeah. Anyway, it's so relatable because like you're with characters who can't touch each other, who wear gloves all the time, who wear masks all the time, who sanitize all the time, sanitize their hands. Yes,
COVID-19.
And sanitizing their hand. Sanitizing their hands all the time, and like keeping their distance 6 feet apart.
We have that rule as well. 6 feet apart.
6 feet apart, because of like if someone sneezes or coughs, the virus isn't transferred. And, so I find it like in an environment or a setting where we can relate to the characters. But at the same time, I had watched the movie before like Corona ever existed. And it really touched me. It wasn't the first time I came across this illness. I read about it in a novel before by Colleen Hoover. Maybe someday, and then maybe now. Where a character had CF, and like I heard about the vest and her treatments, and that she's always in the hospital, and she was dealing with this like the main character was the guy, and she was one of the main characters, yani, but the guy was her boyfriend, and he was always like afraid that something might happen. She would want to do something adventurous, and he would like be, no, you can't.
Yeah.
You might get sick and die, and I don't want you to die. And that was a big thing in the relationship that she hated, yani. But yeah, and
But I'm still grateful for the fact that CFers can still touch other humans except for CFers.
yes, because that part in the movie about touch, it was mind-blowing. Anyway, we'll come to that in the spoiler. But yes, what I was going to say is yes, they touched me and Corona wasn't a thing. And then when Corona happened, I actually thought about them. I was like, this is so dangerous to people with cystic fibrosis. Like this virus attacks the lung, and their lungs are already functioning at a low level, and they have complications. And what if they get the virus, and what are they doing now? And I didn't even, like, I was scared to even search about it, like if people are affected. Thing is, cystic fibrosis, like the first time I ever came across it was in that novel I told you about by Colleen Hoover, and it's not a thing here in Egypt. Like, I never hear of someone with that thing. Is it only in America, or I don't know.
I don't think a disease is related to a country.
Yeah, right. It's a genetic disease.
But I think maybe it has a different name here in Egypt, so we don't know what it's actually called in Arabic. That's why we haven't really heard of it.
Maybe.
Plus, it's like COVID, you know. We, thank God, alhamdulillah, we haven't had anything within our inner circle happening with the virus. And for us, it's like, okay, COVID-19 doesn't exist, basically. You know, just
thank
but
God.
we hear in the on
Media,
TV and in media that people are actually affected by this virus. But for us, it's like, okay, but where is it?
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing with CFers. It's because there's such a little amount of it, and it's not happening around you. So for you, it's non-existent, basically.
Yeah, like we hear about, like, of course, cancer patients and people and children with heart problems that, yes, would terminate their life or like lower their life expectancy.
Yeah.
Like this is a thing here in Egypt, but cystic fibrosis isn't, and
it's not known, you know, and it's sad that we have to make movies like this just to get people's attention, you know?
And books, yeah, exactly.
And we know, if you don't know, the book is actually based on a real person who is
Claire
called...
Wineland.
Yes, Claire Wineland. And we really, really, really recommend that you watch her documentary. It's on YouTube. It's called Claire. It's called
Just
Claire.
Yes.
Just Claire, the documentary. And it's like not even an hour long. And it talks about her life with cystic fibrosis. And I'm amazed at how eye-opening she is, you know? And it's always those kinds of people who are very, like, hand in hand with, like, almost death, basically, you know? And they see how short life can be. We are very oblivious because it's just...
We know,
we're like anybody else. We don't really
think
think
we have
about
time,
death.
yes.
Yeah. We don't really like thinking about death. Who the hell likes thinking about death, you know? And she has to think about death all the time. She's been dying since she was a child, since she was born. So there were a lot of things about her character and her what she preaches on about that were reflected in the movie.
And portrayed in the movie. In Stella and Will.
Yes.
Like, in both of them, her ideas were, like, there. And the conclusion that Stella reaches in the end, and the conclusion that Will reaches in the end.
Yeah.
It was there. Like,
it was definitely there.
it was the
and
theme of the movie.
Exactly, yeah. And it's sad that not a lot of people are going to watch this documentary or even know that this movie is about Claire Wineland. And I
Yeah.
think that's...
But in the end, in the credits, it was like for Claire, and there was a drawing of her.
course,
Yes,
of
but
course.
people wouldn't. No
Wouldn't
one
really-
stays for
yeah.
the credits.
No, even if they stayed for the credits and even if they saw it, they wouldn't go home and research and watch the documentary, or
not all people would.
no
do
one
that,
would
yeah.
actually sit down and care, you know? It's like, so we really want you to sit down and really appreciate the work that Rachel, Micah, or what's his name? Mickey, sorry,
yes.
Mickey.
Mickey and Tobias.
Mickey and
did, yes.
Tobias, what amount of work they have done to get people's attention into such a rare and killing virus, and there's just no cure, which is sad.
Yeah.
Just like cancer. Yeah. So yeah, I guess what else do we have on our list? Right, we wanted to say that I guess this is not really if for those of you who want to know, the producer of the movie was Kathy Shulman, who created also The Edge of 17, if you have heard about it, or The Space Between Us.
The Space Between Us was, I guess, it had the intensity of 5 Feet Apart. Like, if
Yeah.
you had watched that and didn't watch 5 Feet Apart. Yeah.
And it was directed by Justin Baldoni, aka Raphael from Jane the Virgin, if you know who I'm talking about.
I don't. Maybe you guys did. Is it worth it to know? I don't know. I also want to point out that this movie and this book is different than all the other books that were in the same genre or had the same story, like The Fault in Our Stars, Everything, If I Stay.
Yeah.
They all had this, they all look the same, but they're different. And this book had a different circumstance, like we found out. The movie and the book were work alongside each other, and unlike the other books,
who were written
movies,
first, and
yes,
then
the usual adaptation. It's not as dramatic as The Fault in Our Stars, for example, or I guess as romantic. It's not. It's so كده.
It's a little cheesy, you know.
It's cheesy in the way we're cheesy, so it's funny, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there was this book that I read by Renee Carolina, I think.
Okay.
Called Wish You Were Here. It was
right. You told me about it.
It was about a guy who had brain cancer, and he had short-term memory, and so they meet one night, and she goes to his apartment, and they like spend the night, and then when they wake up, he doesn't remember who she is.
So they meet all over again.
Yeah, a lot of time later, and then it turns out he has brain cancer, and like he's really ill and he's going to die, and it was one of those books that I started like in the evening and finished the next day morning, like I didn't sleep until I finished that book. And I guess 5 Feet Apart is sort of like that, but without all the sadness and the tragedy. It is tragic in a way, but not like you would think. So it has a surprise in the end, I guess. Yeah. So read it, basically.
What the hell are you waiting for? Why are you listening to this podcast? Just go read the book. But I think what I want to say as well is that the book has the style of writing. You had something to say about it, and I have something to say as well. I was gonna say that the style of writing is very light and fluffy, if I can use that to describe a style of writing, because it's very enjoyable, like as a light read, and it's not something. It's very like you're reading what's happening in the moment, and it's not complicated. It's not like you can still see and visualize what's happening. Like it's not that simple type of writing.
Yeah, something I'd say about it is very visual.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's very visual.
Yeah.
And I think I liked it. It's not what I expected, but I liked it very much.
I was, at the beginning, I was like, why is this
Too easy.
too easy? Or like, why do I feel like I'm reading emails? There wasn't any sort of communication. I mean, it's that kind of everyday talk or
Yeah.
way of narrating, you know? That's like, I'm telling you about my day. It's not that literature, you know? And then I was like, okay, it's easy, it's fun, it's fast, you know? But it was like, I wanted it to be more
rich.
Yeah, I guess.
But I think for people who want to read the novel of the movie, I think this is what you would expect, you know?
Yeah.
As much as it's... Because the movie is light as well. It's not as heavy as you think it is.
I like the simplicity of it. Reminds you of a script. Like I read screenplays, and
Right.
so it's
it's
visual. Like I said, you're basically reading the movie.
you're basically reading the script, but with more narrative description. You know, just
I
like
guess.
it has the dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue. A lot of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it. I think they're talking more than describing.
Yeah, but that doesn't take away from like the
heart-
settings.
yes. No,
You
not at
don't
all.
feel that disconnected from the place.
No, it's beautifully written.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was it for the non-spoiler. Heed the warning. This is where we go into the story and basically state our favorite quotes, talk about the story itself, and just, enjoy the ride.
I repeat, spoilers are coming. If we remember them.
Yeah. I'm just going to reference something from the documentary. I know you probably haven't watched it, but there is one important thing that Claire has said, is that we shouldn't wait for things to get better or for that one thing that we need to feel happy. No, we should take control of our lives and find happiness and not feel sorry for ourselves, you know? Because you have to imagine a person like her, she's dying, like literally dying, and she finds still the good things in life and tries to find, like, she had a smile on her face almost all through the documentary. Like, she was very optimistic for someone who was dying.
Yes.
You know, and I think that's what she wanted to deliver to everyone, that even though I'm dying, please do not feel sorry for me, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think this is right. And in the movie, you could really see that reflected in the moment where Poe had died, and Stella was telling Will, "Come on, let's go to the lights," and he was continuously refusing not to go with her. And then there was something that she said, "I've been living for my treatments and not doing my treatments to live."
Yeah.
So I think this is the core message of the movie, or of anything. It doesn't mean that this is only for CFers. This is for anyone who we don't breathe. Like, how do we say this? Like, we don't breathe to live.
No, we don't live to breathe. We breathe to live.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't live to breathe. We breathe to live. So, I mean, anything in your life, we don't have to wait for it to happen. We just go out there or wait for the circumstances to change.
No, change the circumstance. I'm saying that and I'm not doing that, and that is scary as hell for me. But
Exactly. No, you could call us hypocrites, but I mean, we're just delivering the message or the core idea of the movie. So
or the book, yeah.
or the book. So yeah, that was kind of what I wanted to say.
Yeah. You know, the first thing that surprised me when I watched the film was Stella when she started recording a YouTube video. I was like, wow, she's so like bubbly, you know? It's not as sad as The Fault in Our Stars and Hazel Grace, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was so sad and
Depressed
all the time. It's not like that. She drew me in, you know. I leaned forward. I want to know more about this character. Yeah, and
like how
that
does
was
she
a surprise.
find...
She took me off guard. Like,
Yeah.
I was prepared to start crying, and then she's all over the place and decorating her room, and then when I watched Claire Wineland doing that in her videos, I mean, of course, Stella is a portrayal of her, not the other way around.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, that was the first thing that caught me off guard watching this movie, and that's why I think it's different. Like, it embedded كده that this is different.
It is very different.
Okay, I want to compare some, let's say, scenes between the book and the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The first of them was, like, when I rewatched the movie after I read the book, I was waiting when he was asking her that he wants to draw her in return of him doing his treatments. I was waiting for him to tell her she's beautiful and, you know,
Yeah.
see him do it. He didn't.
He
It
didn't.
was different in the movie, but I loved that in the book. I love this performance. It wasn't different from the book because basically I was imagining him, Cole Sprouse and
No,
Haley.
he's so good.
He is.
He's got that nonchalant, sexy vibe.
And intense and caring,
Yes.
responsible. Like, he has it all.
And he's not like your typical, like, muscly type of guy, you know? He's
he
just like,
can't be.
he's the perfect combination.
Yeah, I wish he would do more work, you know? It's just Riverdale and 5 Feet Apart.
Yeah.
And
he's done some other stuff, but it's
when
like
he was younger.
under the radar. a little,
Yeah.
Because he's been in college and he's been studying, so he hasn't been doing the acting thing for very long. He had his comeback with Riverdale.
Yeah.
So he's only jump-starting his career again in acting.
He'll be great.
He'll be awesome. Him and his brother.
Yeah. When you told me as a twin, I was like, what? Oh, and that funny thing where imagine that if he doesn't feel like acting today, his brother would
jump in.
And no one would notice.
I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, I'm a filmmaker and I know cameras would, like, if you fool humans, you can't fool cameras.
Yeah.
Anyway, in that moment when he was on the ledge and was going to fall, and like he had this orientation thing.
I love that scene. Oh my god.
In the book, in the movie, it wasn't as intense. It was just him sitting
Just
and
falling.
coughing,
Yeah.
and like and then that moment where he was about to fall, but it wasn't as intense as in the book. On the other hand, the end scene where they're at the pond is so much more intense in the movie, especially with the cross-cutting with the hospital and the lungs and then
Yes.
them and then, you know. And I love the point of view where he was like, come on, Stella, and we don't see her, we're with him, we're with his point of view until he doesn't find her. Unlike Barda in the book, no, he saw her go down, you know?
Yeah.
I guess he did, right?
Yeah, he did. He did.
So I love that. That was like heart stopping. Like, I was like, the first time watching it, and then I remember it a second before it happens in the movie when I was rewatching it. So that was good. That the most intense part. I loved their outfit in the movie on their first date. And like what she wore in the book. I'm like,
I love the pose reaction. Don't you dare, ho. Because it's see-through.
See-through. Yes, it's basically a nightgown.
Yeah, it is. But it stopped his heart for a millisecond.
And I loved when he threw himself he threw himself sideways into the pool.
Oh, yeah. That was good.
God. And like there was some filmmaking aspects in that movie where the montage after her fight with Poe and Will not talking to her when they transitioned between the three of them, where someone passes in front of the camera and then they mask until we see the other person. It
So
was
good.
brilliant, yes. Oh, I'm on a roll here.
Yeah, you
I
are.
just thought a lot of things. Even from the first time watching the movie, I love that, like the choice of the director basically in blocking, where he always puts them on opposite sides of the frame when they were in a two shots. Yeah, like usually a two shot, like where there are two persons in the shot and they're like medium or long, whatever. We can see the whole of them or half of them, whatever. They're like close or speaking or at a table or but they're always at the edge of the frame, both of them. I don't
Really?
know if it's.
I haven't noticed that.
It was no. It is.
It's that 5 feet apart thing.
Yes. And it's all over the
distance.
movie. And
I have the first time I've watched the movie, I was crying so heavily. I
Me
have
too.
never
Me
cried
too.
for so long in a movie like that. And it was overwhelming. Wasn't expecting to bawl my eyes out, It just happened. Thank God no one walked in on me, or else they'd be like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah. And like I like that, like, you cried not because it's so dramatic and depressing, no, because
It was touching.
it was touching and lighthearted.
And I loved what he
So-
did for her at the end.
Yeah.
That light thing. Oh my God.
No, the way
It's so beautiful.
the idea that he leaves her,
Yeah.
I wasn't in his head like in the book, in the movie, but the first time I watched it, I was like, why?
Oh my God, they're
That
never
doesn't-
going to see each other again?
Yes, that doesn't make any sense. Why are you doing that? No, I thought it was going in the right direction, And I felt heartbroken like her. But being in his head, I understand where he's coming from. Because in the movie, yes, he did sound cheesy when he said, and he said it's cheesy. And they always say, if you love something enough, you should let it go, or
Yeah.
you can let it go. But in the book, his thought process reaching that conclusion was, yes, justifiable, It's like, yeah,
And I think what made me cry the most was that she still had the intubation
and
to
she
breathe
couldn't
for.
speak.
She couldn't say anything.
Yeah,
And she was there crying.
finally got you speechless.
Oh no. Wow. Dark comedy.
Dark sarcasm.
Dark comedy at its finest. Yeah. But anyway, let's get to our favorite moments. Or do you still have something else to say?
I guess, like, character-wise, I didn't like that his mother was sort of flat in the movie. Like, she didn't have any flesh to her,
Yeah. Where was that scene where he screamed at her? Was it there? Where, remember?
Hello, you don't even know me.
Yes. It wasn't there in
Who's
the
my
movie.
favorite artist, Mom? Yeah, that's why I said, there wasn't.
I was missing that scene so much. It
And
should have been in.
And on his birthday,
There was a box. There
and
was a
we
present.
didn't see what's inside.
Yes.
I don't know if
I
they
think they-
filmed it or not, or
I think they deleted it. They deleted it.
or it wasn't there in the book then. And
Who knows?
but then where's the arc? Like, where does he realize that his mom is actually on his side?
Yeah.
It wasn't there in the
No,
movie.
it wasn't. Which is sad. But anyway, she was on his side all along.
Yeah.
We just knew it at the end. I think it was like shown a little bit when she called those people. I don't know who she called anyway.
I think someone
From the hospital?
No.
To get permission?
from the not government, but like from the city people who to tell them bring the lights to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Love, bring them down and bring them to the hospital. You see.
Right. Okay.
As this is the only thing that if they can buy it and bring it, what's the problem?
What are those lights anyway?
I think they're Christmas lights, something like that.
Okay. That was never really explained. She was just referring to them as the lights.
I guess it
I
was
didn't like that.
metaphorical, like, no, they're stars, and it was something they wished on. I guess it was just a way of like having a goal to go to, a
Yeah.
simple goal, you know.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, you were going to say your favorite moments.
Yes. My first, at the beginning of the book, my most favorite moment is where she says, "I don't want him to die." Page 70 in the book.
I guess.
Yeah.
That was quick, but
It was too fast, but it was yes, that's something also I wanted to address. I know the love story is very fast, but it still feels natural and it feels light. It goes quick, but you feel the connection. You know, it's not like, why is this happening? You know, you feel the love for each other.
as like from my experience, like I would crush on someone in a moment. It wouldn't take
Yeah.
me weeks to crush on someone, you know. It's just so you notice something and you like it, you see.
Exactly.
And I guess that was the way of it, like
Yeah.
here in the book.
So, this is one of my favorite moments. I struggle with the cap on a mucus thinner, pressing down on it with all my strength and trying to twist it off. I don't want him to die. The thought climbs on top of the mountain of frustration and plants a flag, clear and loud, so surprising to me that I don't even understand it. I just see him walking back to the edge of that roof, and even though he's the actual worst, I don't want him to die. I twist the lips sharply and it comes flying off, pills showering down onto my mid-card. Angrily, I slam the bottle down, the pills jumping again with the force of my hand. Damn it! And this damn it could refer to anything.
Yeah.
Damn it I care, or damn it the pills, or damn you, Will, for making me care about you.
Yeah.
So it's like a universal damn it.
Wait, don't close the book. I guess, and I love that transition from chapter to chapter, and that part, I think
Yes.
you too loved it. It's like, damn it, and then Will, chapter 6, Will. I opened the door to my room, surprised to see Stella backing up against the wall on the other side of the hallway. After the stunt I pulled yesterday, I thought she'd steer clear of me for at least a week. She's wearing about 4 face masks and 2 pairs of gloves. So relatable. Her fingers wrapping tightly around the plastic handrail on the wall. As she moves, I catch the scent of lavender. It smells nice. Anyway, the idea is, I love the transitioning between Stella and Will in the book. Like in the movie, there was a little prolonging to it, I guess. Like, in that part specifically, we see her coming out of her room, putting on the face mask, and then the gloves on her way to Will's room, and then knocking and him opening the door. It's not as abrupt as in the book, and I like it in the book more because it's it's like it's moving the story forward, because you're more in the moment, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if I was editing, I'd do the cut like that, you see. You are dying. I'm looking at quotes on Goodreads to remember my favorite ones. Sadly, I didn't highlight them. But there's this one, you're a dying girl with survivor's guilt.
I know.
That is a complete mindfuck. I know, this is complex.
Yes, I found it. Okay. I love, my second favorite moment is at the end of the book. Okay. Wait, I'll say it's page 235, chapter 23. Okay, it's from Stella's point of view. My favorite moment is when he says "I love you," and I love the way he says it.
Yes.
I love that it's not like in the movie. In the movie, it was like, Stella, pause, I love you. It wasn't really for it. I loved it more in the book. It was blurted out, and it was felt. It was
Yeah.
just
Yes.
like, it was casual, just the way I like it. Not really a statement, rather than just, I want to let you know that I love you. You know, like, it was, here. Will was right. Do I want to spend all my time left swimming upstream? I push off him and try to spin, throwing my arms out, my face turned toward the starry sky, twirling around and around on the slick ice. I hear his voice. God, I love you. The way he says it is so soft and real and the most wonderful thing. But I don't see her saying I love you back in this part. The I love you back in the movie was amazing. The smile on her face.
And the way he looked up, it was like, she loves me back.
But this God, I love you. This God, I love you. Oh, it's so good. And it's like the first time he says it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And on his to-do list, hashtag number 1,
Love Stella forever.
We're so cheesy.
Yeah, we are.
So those are my 2 favorite moments. So the one at the beginning, I don't want him to die, and my second moment is the way he says I love you. So if anyone agrees with me, let me know.
You know, my sister and many people in my life keep telling me that I am going to get the shock of my life when I fall in love.
Why? That men are not that cheesy?
No, it's like the fictional love and the real love.
Totally different. Totally different.
And I keep hoping I want.
Well,
Anyway,
so
yeah.
let's move on to favorite quotes.
Okay. I guess my favorite is what Abby said to Stella when Stella was like in the space in between, I guess, dying and living. Where she says, I'm not going far. I'll always be here, just an inch away. I promise. That made me understand that definitely this is her subconsciousness. It's not Abby there or anything.
Of course.
Despite this like being fiction or whatever, but like, yeah. But I love her, like that's her belief of that birth is like death and it's just like the next life is an inch away, basically. That it's so embedded on her that even when she's in that state of like hallucination, I guess, or I don't know what state that is. Anyway, it comes to her, you know.
Yes.
It's a confirmation. Like even her subconscious confirms her belief. Anyway,
It's beautiful.
yeah, and of course that thing she said about touch. Wow.
Yeah, that was my favorite one.
Okay, you read it.
We need that touch from the one we love, almost as much as we need air to breathe. I never understood the importance of touch, his touch, until I couldn't have it. This is my favorite one. And
Yes.
this one came at the end of the movie, but it's not at the end of the book.
Yeah.
She made a YouTube video telling people, touch the people you love. Don't take it for granted, you know, because it's important. And
It is a love language in the end, Danny.
yeah, it's physical touch. We need physical touch because we're human. We just function that way, you know?
Yeah.
And no matter what you say, we always need that one hug from mom or from dad or from our siblings, you know, or
Friends,
from
yeah.
or friends. It's always, it recharges us, you know, for a while, and it makes us feel loved, you know, and feeling loved is the point of it all.
Yeah, it is.
And there's one thing, or do you have another quote?
Like there are a lot about like we're breathing borrowed air or like we're dying anyway and blah blah blah. This is all, it's not new, you know.
Yeah.
It was in stories before.
But there's one more concept that I wanted to refer to. The what Claire said in the documentary. she said art doesn't happen or doesn't take place without suffering. So I kind of had this epiphany of maybe that this was reflected in Will because his suffering made him an artist.
Yeah.
He was, whenever he felt down or whenever he wanted to express his love for someone,
Or express his opinion or
Yeah.
thoughts. Like,
it was all through art. You know,
yes,
he's an
his
artist.
cartoons.
And it's also with Abby. Abby was suffering emotionally because of her sister, or almost dying sister, to make her art, to create art, to give her art on her wall, and she, Stella could like really feel the absence of that when her sister died, because she said that she always received new pieces of art when she went to the hospital.
Yes.
And I loved that replacement for
Abby was Will.
Will.
His recklessness, his wildness, his art.
So he's basically Abby in male form. Not really. He's completely different from Abby.
Yeah.
But not that anyone can replace Abby. Abby is replaceable. Irreplaceable. So I think that concept of art doesn't happen without suffering. This was even said in a speech that she was holding, I think, at TEDx. It was TEDx, I think. She held a speech at TEDx. I don't know if that's the one. But she held a speech and she was saying that quote, art doesn't happen without suffering, and it really, really resonated, and you can really see how it's reflected in the movie. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess like when I hear that,
and the whole movie, it's because of Claire's suffering. They created art.
Exactly.
They created a movie because of Claire's suffering. Oh my god. See the bigger picture.
I guess when I hear that like art is created from suffering, however little that suffering is, I mean, we shouldn't seek suffering to create art. Like, we shouldn't take it that way.
No.
But yeah, we should look at what's hard in our life and go through it, I guess, to reach our dream, and not play it safe, like Claire said.
Yeah.
Don't play it safe. I play it safe all the time. It's my curse.
Well, let's not talk about that. I mean, playing it safe is something. It's part of a personality. You know, it's hard to get rid of. That's
and
like
an
really
upbringing as well.
Yeah, upbringing as well.
Yeah.
It's related to everything, like childhood and parents and siblings and everything. It's like just a combination of things. So that's the way you function, because you've had certain experiences in your life, because when you don't take it safe, you fell on your face, so you feel like, I don't want to experience that again, so you don't go there. But we know that if we step outside our comfort zone, beautiful things can happen. But also, there's a possibility of not beautiful things happening. So it's like...
Yeah, and that's the suffering, and then art is created.
Genius.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think...
Let's move to our favorite songs from the movie.
From the movie?
Yeah.
State Line. State Lines by Novo Amor. That's my favorite one.
I guess the only song I noticed in the movie was Wait by M83, I think. Because I've heard it before. It's on my...
Oh, I love that one.
I love it.
When was it played? In which scene?
It was playing in... Okay, the song was playing when Sela was doing her video about the 5 feet apart.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's why it was like iconic in my head. And we discovered that Claire Wineland did a song called Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so touching. Like, it was... We'll read you the lyrics, like, or some of it, and you'll know what we mean. My mind's a map. Where does it start?
It starts here. My thoughts are stars I cannot fathom into constellations. My mind's a map that has lost its destination. I'm willing to be wrong as much as I need to be right. 'Cause over there is my tunnel and it burns out all the lights.
Lights. Okay. He told me I was a beautiful girl with a mind that could stretch on for galaxies. He told me I was a beautiful girl.
It repeats.
It repeats. Okay. And I'm broken, but I'm fixable. And that's the worst kind, because it means that the fault is on me. I'm broken, and I'm fixable, and that's the worst kind, because it means all the pressure is on me.
Yeah.
This is like, oh. And it goes on, of course,
It's a very long song, and
Yeah.
you can find it on YouTube. It's Galaxies by Claire Wineland.
She even performs it, like,
in the documentary.
yeah.
It's
Like you said that the part about the galaxies is where maybe in the movie Stella
Right.
sees the drawing
Yeah.
transforms into a galaxy.
so
And the part about her feeling pressure.
feeling pressure to stay alive because of her parents and Abby being dead and everything. Yeah. There's a lot of Claire Wineland in the movie, and that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Oh, and Claire Wineland actually created a foundation. The Claire something.
Yeah.
She created a foundation for CFers to support them because she knows that it's difficult with parents who have children with CF, cystic fibrosis, and they can't find the time to be with their children because they need to constantly work and earn money to pay for the treatments, you know? So they have to spend all the time at work and don't get to spend the time with their children, you know, like counterproductive. So, you know, when you work for something but you don't get to do that thing you work for. So,
And I love that her concept of looking out for a role model and not finding one that is like her or looks like her, and then becoming that role model for people like her. And I love that she made that her purpose, basically.
yeah.
Okay, I think that's all we have to say about 5 Feet Apart, the book and the movie.
Yes.
And I tell you guys, go find out about Claire Wineland. She's
Such a beautiful human being.
and
It's sad
very
that she passed
inspiring.
away.
Yeah, sadly. But she's so inspiring. It was her words were like a wake up call to me, you know. That weighs heavy on me. And I'd be honest.
You don't like wake up calls of any kind.
Yeah.
We
But,
don't. We like to sleep
Yeah.
through life.
I'll try. Oh, I forgot to talk about Claire Wineland's favorite books. She had a video about that. Check it out. I think, but I'd like to, from the documentary, I noticed the background behind her. And she had books that I love, books from the Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. Lunar Chronicles, there was Cress. And
Really?
Yeah. And what else? There was Harry Potter, of course. What else did I see? There was Shiver, which I want to read. I love that, that way it makes her more, I feel like she was someone I would talk about those stories and characters with, and sadly she did pass away last year. Anyway. So
I tried.
I guess we'll see you guys next episode with a book.
Writers and Royals by M.L. Gray.
Yeah.
A collaboration with the author.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're excited to work with an author.
Yeah. We're very glad she contacted us
to review her book on our podcast. So
we're currently reading it, and we'll see.
We'll see. Thank you for making it to the end of this chapter. It seems another story has come to an end on our podcast. We will forever remember you, Claire, Stella, and Will, and we will try not to play it safe. But anyway, for next time we will be reviewing Rioters and Royals by M.L. Gray and get in touch with the author to find out more about the story. So mark the page for chapter 30.